Okay guys, this is Microprose Soccer on the Amstrad CPC. Long playing review as always, and yeah, this was first released on the Commodore 64 and was a true classic game. One of the best 8-bit football games ever, at least on the Commodore 64. And I tell you something, I think my cousin had a Commodore 64, maybe in a Commodore 128 disc machine, and he had this game. This was the first game he wanted to show me, and I did sneer at the disc loading times, but I soon shut up when the game started. I was absolutely gobsmacked and blown away just at how good this soccer game was on the Commodore, and probably for the first time ever I actually felt really jealous and almost wished I had a Commodore 64 to play this game on. It was that good. And so as soon as I heard there was an Amstrad version, I went out and got it. So here we are on the option screen there. We're turning the weather on. We're going to stick to low banana power, more on that later. And we're going to have replays, action replays turned on as well. And well, let's just concentrate first of all on the Amstrad version, and as you can see, we've had some really nice presentations so far. Really nice title and option screens here, with some really lovely music to go with the game. I believe the music is the same as the Commodore 64 version. And if you notice, the music changes for different areas. And we got a brand new set of music here for the World Cup tournament. So what we're going to do here for a long play is we're going to go through a whole World Cup tournament. Will only take us about 20 minutes worth of video footage to get through to the final and win it. And yeah, I forgot to mention, there's an indoor soccer version of this game on the other side of the disc or cassette. And I've got a little bit of short gameplay footage of that at the end of the video, which takes the remaining sort of 10 minutes. But of course we're playing the 11-a-side outdoor game, and the first game in the World Cup, we're of course England, and we're against Hungary. And the game starts off. Bit of delay on kickoff, and off we go. Right, okay. As you first impressions, not brilliant, I have to admit, especially if you've seen or played the Commodore 64 version, which had nice, lovely colours, a nice large pitch, and played just a touch faster than this. But we've got quite a small screen here, guys. But the first thing you notice really is the colour, which is basically just green and black with a bit of dithering here and there. Oh, there's our first goal. As you can see there, we used our banana swerve shot there, and we get an action replay. And how cool is that? It rewinds in black and white as well, and then starts up again. And it's quite long, the replay actually. It goes back quite far. There you go. Now that's impressive stuff. And we've already scored quite an impressive goal there by using a swerve banana shot there. Okay, we've got sliding tackles on the go. They were pretty decent. And sorry, yeah, guys, I've kept the game time as short as possible so we can get through this as quickly as possible. But we've got plenty of matches anyway, so plenty to see and take in. So yeah, I'll just going back to what I was talking about, colour. You know, it's basically monochrome, or well, not monochrome because we've got green, but yeah, black and green with a bit of dithering. And yeah, this, I mean, obviously this bit of a problem is kind of distinguishing between which is a computer controlled player and which is yours, because there's one has black shirts, one has white shirts, well, green, and but this, you know, it's quite because the sprites are relatively small. There's only a small amount of area on the sprite that you can tell which is their shirts and which colour the shirt is. It's a bit of a shame. Sound effects are a bit weird. I mean, that's a strange noise for a sliding tackle. And you may hear lots of beeps and boofs and buzzery type noises throughout the game. I believe that's when control has switched to a goalkeeper. There's like those two beeps there. I think that signifies the goalkeeper. You're no longer in control of the goalkeeper, or at least the computer wasn't there. Which is nice they've added that little feature there. Because you know, like some of the previous football games I've covered, it can be quite confusing to know when you're in the control of the keeper or not. So that does certainly help, but to be honest with you, you barely sort of notice those beeps and buzzer noises. You find you're concentrating too much on what's happening at the time. Oh dear. Well, drawn in our table, we've got Argentina, and they're one of the toughest teams in the game. Oh, and guys, check this out. Remember we turned the weather on in the options? Well, it's raining, thundering and lightning, and players are skidding all over the place, and some really nice rain effects there. Mistime your tackle and you end up skidding way across the pitch, and an absolute mess there. Now this time of course I'm playing down the pitch in this half. Oh, there goes the thunder and lightning again. Great stuff. So I'm in the light shirts, just so you know. Oh, that was probably going to be a goal for Argentina there, but the half-time whistle saved my ass. I think we'll just do well to get through without losing, and then we can win our other matches against the easier teams. All starting off well there. Goalkeepers get really good on these teams as well. Against lesser teams though, when I took that shot with the swerve, that may well have gone in on a lesser team, catching the goalkeeper off guard. I think the goalkeeper skill improves by their positioning. And generally the other players of the better teams, they tend to be just a little bit more aggressive and on the ball, to steal a phrase which is appropriate. They don't mess about, and they can pass it about the pitch quite well. Okay, so we scraped a draw there against Argentina. You get to see all the other scores one by one. Might get a little bit annoying, but there's not too many teams there. But it does actually make you feel a little bit more part of the tournament by having to sort of witness the different scores and stuff, and you can look at tables and maybe see who you might be playing in the next round. Oman they're the weakest team. There's another gameplay feature, it's called the International Challenge, and basically you play against every team in progressive difficulty order, and the first team is always Oman, and there's 16 teams to play against. Obviously I went for the World Cup route here. Oh, cheeky USA, snuck the ball already from me. Wow, their forward is quick down the pitch there. Interesting. So USA nearly caught me by surprise there. And for some reason it takes forever for a goalkeeper to take a bloody goal kick. It's a bit annoying. Anyway, we're playing up the pitch. And there we go, making our way. do a swerve shot there. That usually, oh, the goalkeeper saved it. Still got the bad weather and my players sliding all over the place. Actually, I like it when there's weather because it's much easier to get past your opponents, because you can roughly time. Oh, what a lovely goal! A diagonal lob there. Let's see that in a replay. It's nice these replays go back quite far, but it gets a little bit annoying at times having to watch quite a bit of footage each time on the replay. Still, can't complain too much. Would have been nice to sort of be able to sort of save replays to disk or something like that. I think that'd be a bit much to ask for an 8-bit machine. You can certainly save your options and league and World Cup positionings to disk on the main title screen, which is good. I'll hoof the ball down the wing there to my midfielder out in the wing. As you can see there, you can roughly know when they're about to slide tackle and reversey direction and watch them skid around. Ooh, bugger there. It's about to do a really nice cross. Oh, didn't hold down the fire button long enough there. That's one of the problems of the game. Well, at least in the Amstrad version and probably the Spectrum version, because they look identical. They've probably been cross-programmed. Is with you know, kicking the ball basically. Now, taking long-range shots, chip shots, and swerving the ball is all fantastic and well and good, but it's really difficult sort of passing the ball about. You either only seem to be able to sort of like tap the ball sort of a little bit further ahead of yourself, which can be useful, and then just basically you're already sort of running onto the ball, or you're basically blasting it for miles and way up in the air. And it's really hard to sort of judge kind of like a if you just want to do like a relatively simple pass along the ground to another player, a little bit of distance from yourself. You either, like I said, you either end up sort of like putting it a yard or two in front of you, or just blasting it. Can never seem to sort of get the timing in the middle. I'm not even sure it's possible. Probably is. It's just really awkward. It's not very intuitive in that way. In the end, you sort of end up just trying to dribble the ball as much as possible on your own with the same player, or just basically hoofing it down the pitch and hoping someone's waiting to pick it up. Which is a bit of a shame, really, because a lot of this game they got right, despite, you know, the small playing area and all that. A few other issues we'll come on to as well. But with a football game, you want to be able to sort of pass the ball about, and unfortunately, this version's really sort of lacking that. And there's a few key things you need to get right in football games, and it's got most of it right, apart from that one key critical thing. It's not helped. Sorry, we just scored against Brazil there. Probably the hardest team, I think. So I'll just shut up and let's just watch this goal on a replay. Oh, caught him out by a beautiful long-range swerving shot there. So yeah, you know, basically, as I was saying, soccer games have to get a few basic features right, and it's not helped by the fact that the screen size is really small, so you can't really sort of identify where you know, your neighbouring players at least are, so it's pure guesswork. Perhaps could done if you're going to use a small playing area to try and get the game running as smoothly as possible on the Amstrad, then you need to implement some kind of radar to sort of see where your other players are on the pitch, which is a problem, and it was a problem in Italy 1990. I think we looked at that a couple of videos back. Oh, Brazil has snuck one back, cheeky bastards. So yeah, small playing area, bit of a problem, and the lack of colour doesn't help either. Again, identifying which one of your players is. Okay, another major criticism: player selection, i.e. changing to the next player or whatever. Very awkward to do in manual. Never seems to work. I end up sort of selecting a player that's like just off the edge of the plane, well, the view of the plane area. I don't know if he's above or below or to the right or left. I end up sort of running miles off in the opposite direction. Oh, sorry, yeah, we just scored there. Beautiful. Player selection, yeah, and if it's selected to be automatic player selection, which I've used in this, there does seem to be quite a lag before your the nearest player is selected. Literally about 1 second to 2 seconds sort of lag, which, you know, kind of really disrupts the play of the flow of the game, which is a bit of a shame, really. It's kind of like I've been quite critical of a lot of the football games we've looked at so far. You know, it's kind of like, well, what do you expect from an 8-bit soccer game on a, you know, like a home computer as you know, well, you know, as lacking as an Amstrad or Spectrum or Commodore or whatever? Well, you know, the answer is go and look at this on the Commodore 64. They've got it all right. You know, with the same amount of memory, similar speed CPU. Obviously there's some notable hardware differences between the two machines, but oh Jesus, sorry, Russia have already scored against us, oops. But yeah, if the Commodore 64 version can handle this, surely the Amstrad can as well. But they've managed to get relatively smooth scrolling in the game. It's not as liquid smooth as the Commodore 64 version, but it does alright. It's probably a good idea that they had the pitch stripes going vertically rather than horizontally. I think it would induce a seizure otherwise, especially as you're sort of like changing direction quite a few times, trying to shake off you know, your attacker or whatever. But yeah, again, with the small playing area, it's sometimes a little bit hard to know whereabouts roughly you are on the pitch. But yeah, I mean, like I said though, I've been critical, but I actually quite like this. I think this is still a good football game on its own 2 feet, and in its own right. It's still a good soccer game. If the Commodore 64 version didn't exist, you know, this would still be a good football game. I actually quite enjoy playing it, mostly because you can score some really spectacular goals, like so. You know, massive lob shots and swerves and stuff. I mean, I haven't really even mentioned sort of the banana power that much. I mean, I selected like low banana power, and you can see it sort of bends out and bends back in again, and ends up sort of in line with your player eventually. But with like medium power, and especially high power banana power is absolutely ridiculous. Literally the ball almost like loops all the way around on itself. It's quite ridiculous, but quite interesting. I think I turned banana power on high on my oh yeah, bugger. Oh, that would have been a really awesome goal. In fact, I scored a very similar goal If you look at my previous video, it's the top 10 goals of Microprose Soccer I scored. That's my personal favourites. Did a very similar goal on that. That was my last video. That's well worth a watch. It's only about 2 minutes long. Because in practicing for this game and if you ever practice runs, I've got some really spectacular goals before and after I did this long play. So I thought I'd put that video up first. But yeah, that's the point I was making. You can score some really spectacular goals, which just elevates this really high. I think the best football games are the football games where you can basically score spectacular goals. Even with this game, the reason primarily it's not as good as Emlyn Hughes is, well, you can't really sort of pass the ball about much and make really complicated and satisfying plays. But yeah, you could score some really... Oh, that was an overhead kick there in action, guys. Although it didn't quite work out. So yeah, you can do some really cool goals. I just love experimenting and trying to find out new ways of doing them. I think I was just trying to experiment there with an overhead kick. Oh yeah, if you just noticed there, the time's ran out. But essentially we've gone into a golden goal situation. Oh, what a beautiful diagonal lob there. So yeah, that means we've won the match. So it's first. So if you get into the finals, i.e. quarter-final, semi-final, whatever. If it's still a draw at full time, then it's golden goal situation. First team that scores wins. Like so. Also in this game's favour, it does put up quite a bit of challenge. I thought I'd make this. Keeping the time as short as possible would make things really difficult for myself. Especially to get. Oh, geez, Italy, they're really good in this game. Especially to get past some of the more difficult teams and get a quick goal. It's actually made things probably, ironically, a bit easier. Otherwise, perhaps like Italy and Argentina and Brazil might have ran rampant on me. I'll probably be losing like 5-1 or something like that. Oh! And Italy have just scored an own goal. Beautiful. Let's see that in the replay. I like how the goalkeeper was completely confused there as to what was going on and just stood rooted to the spot as carnage was erupting around him. But yeah, I still like this football game. I think if I'm going to give it a score, which I'll do now, I think I'll still give this an 8 out of 10. Because despite its deficiencies and being nowhere near as good as the Commodore 64 version, which I keep bloody harping on about, still a good football game in its own right, and it's whether you enjoy it or not, really. And I do, primarily because of all the cool goals you can score or whatever. And the replays and presentation is a really nice touch. Shows they have cared about this game, well, at least this conversion. Now what can... Oh, it started raining again, lovely. What I can find out is this conversion to the Amstrad and Spectrum was done by a company called Smart Egg Software. Can't find out much about them, unfortunately. But the original game on the Commodore 64 was from Sensible Soccer. Sorry, from Sensible Software, who of course went on to make Sensible Soccer, Cannon Fodder, and some really great and classic games. I think they were still going up to about 1999 until they got bought out by Codemasters. I think they kind of struggled with the changeover to 3D graphics and PlayStations and Xbox. But yeah, of course they also did Wizball before Microprose Soccer. What else do they do? shoot 'em up construction kit on the Commodore 64 was really good and popular. But yeah, I think Microprose Soccer was really their first really big hit. Didn't do so well on the 16-bit systems here, but you know, they probably cleaned up with Sensible Soccer, which is probably arguably the best 2D football game ever. Oh, this is of course the World Cup final. England versus Holland. And this is worth mentioning as well, it was eventually published by Microprose, of course. And obviously they use the name Microprose Soccer. Nice big boxed release it was at the time. Yeah, I think it had lots of nice extra things in the box. I do have it at home somewhere. A massive manual where you had a history of history of football, the rules of football, history of the World Cup, and all that kind of stuff. Nice little touch. However, I will mention something, that the price of the game at the time was just extraordinary, really. It was 15 quid on cassette, or 20 quid upwards for the disc version. I think that's asking a lot, really. That's probably one of the most expensive disc games ever for the Amstrad, one of them at least. Sheesh. 20 quid was a lot of money back in 1989 or whatever it was released. I think it was 89. Although I suppose it did come with indoor soccer as well as a bonus. That's reasonably good fun, but doesn't work so well on the Amstrad version because of the passing and kicking situation, i.e. you only seem to be able to tap the ball in front of you a bit or boot it. So that works a lot worse in a small enclosed footballing environment rather than a full-size pitch like this. But anyway guys, 8 out of 10 overall from me, and let's see if we can win this World Cup. About 20 seconds left, but maybe the weather will work in our favour, and then we can lure some of the Dutch players into sliding away. Oh, 9 seconds. Oh, we scored a peach of the goal in the dying seconds of the match. Let's have a look at that again. It's not often you get to see England win the World Cup. Brilliant. Like one last desperate effort from the Dutch there. Now there we go. England are the winners of the World Cup. And we get a nice little screen congratulating us. Nothing spectacular, but at least you get something, unlike Match Day 1 and 2 and Emlyn Hughes. Wasn't much more in the Italy 1990 games we looked at. But yeah, good stuff overall. But really, you only want to play this on the Commodore 64, sadly, and that's you know, a massive Amstrad fan and nerd like me saying it. Still, it's worth having a quick blast on your Amstrad. And a little edit cut there, we just jumped to the indoor version of the game on the other side of the cassette or disc. We're going to put the banana power up high this time. Oh yeah, I already mentioned music. Music's really good. I have to give a special shout out for the music there. Oh yeah, just Commodore 64 version actually had music in game, actually. I'm remembering as well. Had a little bit insult to injury. But here's the indoor version. Obviously plays exactly the same, just with American indoor soccer rules apparently. I think you got those sort of lines there, sort of a quarter of the pitch away down. I don't think you're allowed to kick the ball over a certain height or something like that. When within those lines, I can't remember now. Or maybe the goalkeeper's not allowed to travel past that line or something, because the goalkeeper can actually run down the pitch actually in this version. Hoof it too high and it obviously will go out. Whoa, there's the massive banana power in action there. You saw it, saw the ball there completely loop around. Bit pointless having full banana power in the indoor games, I discovered, because there's not much of a playing area. Wow, check that out. You saw it there in action at least. Because it's not much point having full banana power, because you just tend to end up bouncing off another player very close to you. I'm going to say though, this game is like streets ahead of like things like Codemasters for Soccer Simulator, which had an indoor and outdoor version of the game, I think. Whether this is better than Match Day 2, I'm not sure. It's certainly no Emlyn Hughes beta though on the Amstrad, which I'll probably look at next. So thanks for watching guys, hope you enjoyed, and see you next time. Cheers, bye.